in the Valley of the Nobles here. Actually, we're called Abu Dara Naja here, Naga here. This is where these tombs are. And we're going to go into these tombs just over here. Hey, Justin. Hey, Peter. And there's over 700 tombs in this area alone. So 700 tombs just for the Valley of the Nobles here, which is as well, which is quite unbelievable. And there's another shaft just down there as well. But we're going to go into the tomb of Shroi first. Shroi. Here. Our temple guardian there. And then this is the tomb here. Get a little bit closer. Shroi from the Ramesside period, from the 19th dynasty actually. There's a little board up here we can actually have a look at. You can have a look there. You can take a picture, ready for having a read at your own leisure later on. But we have, Shroi was the head of the brazier bearers, okay, in the temple of Amun in Luxor. So temple we're going to get to see in here as we go in, and what's left here. So we have some of the outlines. You can see just some of the outlines here. You see that? So the red, this is how they did their outlines. And then we have, see here, they didn't complete these at all. So you can see the pencil markings. So this is the red pencil markings for the tomb. And then we have this on the entrance. Some of the scenes that you can see in the tomb are the following. So Shroi and his wife adoring the gods. Scenes in the Book of Gates showing Shroi and his wife, therefore various dignitary deities and guardians of the gates and the netherworld. And the ceiling of the chamber, painting with geometric patterns. Because you see these geometric patterns here, aren't these amazing? These are just incredible, aren't they? The funeral procession of Shroi and the opening of the mouth ceremony. So let's go in the corners. These beautiful, beautiful colours. And then we have these here as well. You can see Roy and you can see Shroi and his wife here adorning. Hey, Gillian, might make it a little bit difficult at the back here. You can see some offerings there as well. And I can bring you over this way again with the hieroglyphics. I'll just give you a long shot so you can take a long shot of the hieroglyphic. Thanks, guys. Sanctum of the tomb. Now, this is where we might get a little bit of. See, every nook and cranny had paintings in, and the surfaces in these tombs are quite rough as well. They're not as smooth as you would get in the Valley of the Kings, but still they're very, very nice surfaces, which is absolutely incredible, isn't it? Try over on this wall here. You can see an awful lot of there've been damage in here, so an awful lot of the paintings are missing, or they may not have been finished. So his sarcophagus would have been in here. So sarcophagus would have been in this general area here. They would have found it in there. We do have some more of these beautiful paintings here. I love these. These are really cool. Look at this. Yes, it would have been, because these would have been completely sealed off for a number of years. Anytime people went in, so they're coming to rob stuff out of them. So here we have this lovely ceiling as well. So all the ceilings were kind of painted. It's kind of like, we have like the flat tent that we have today, and it's kind of like a material type of ceiling that we have with all these geometric patterns. But if you see what else they have on the left, they have on the right. So basically it's very geometrical, and geometrical shapes were really, really important in ancient Egyptian times. To our next tomb. So just bearing in mind, it is quite hot today, and my phone's already feeling signage up there for where we're going. Just incredible, isn't it? So off we go and keep the sun off the phone. Now, the one thing I love about the nobles' tombs is the fact that you are getting a snapshot of the real life of the pharaohs. Oh, thank you, Maureen. A real snapshot of the day in the life of a pharaoh. Look at this here. So they've been doing some digging and some clearing just recently as well, by the look of it, which is absolutely amazing. They're doing an awful lot of clearing and discovering all these new tombs that we have got going on here, which is very exciting. Underneath houses for a very long time. So there was houses built on top of these tombs, and then the locals were going in and dipping into the antiquities underneath and then selling it to us unsuspecting foreigners as we came, because we all wanted to take a bit of antiquity back with us. Look at the deep hole here. Look how deep that is. As I said, my watch is 38, but it feels like more like 62 degrees. It's really warm today. Okay, this is our next stop on our whirlwind adventure. Ooh. So here we go. A bit of information now. Let's have a look up here. From the 18th dynasty. Ooh. And he was a scribe to Horemheb. So one of Horemheb's scribes. He's quite an important gentleman, this one. But this tomb is very, very small. Abu al-Naga. Yeah. Which is a label team, so I'm just getting pronunciation right from our gatekeeper here. There we go, look at this. Again, the colours in here are just insane. I don't want to touch the walls or anything because we want to make it last for thousands of years. It already lasted like 3,000 years, but look at this. This is just absolutely unbelievable. Look at this. So we've got Roy and his wife making offerings. And then we have the lovely Anubis here. Look at this. I know it's absolutely amazing, isn't it? The colours here have always taken my breath away in this tomb. This is actually one of my most favourite tombs, actually. This one and Selamut. But Selamut, we can't get in there, unfortunately, because there is just no signal. Look at these here, the cows. So beautiful. I know, Noreen, aren't they? Now, this is an amazing photo. I'm going to turn you lengthwise so you can get this in the full picture. But look at the yellow ochre. So the yellow and the red are made from red and yellow ochre. And Roy, as in R-O-Y, Terry. And if you put in the Valley of the Nobles and Tomb of Roy, you'll have it come up. Now, red and yellow ochre were used for the red and yellow colours, and then the blue that you're seeing, the vivid blue that we have here, this is actually made out of lapis lazuli. So lapis lazuli was crushed into a powder, the same as the red and yellow ochre. The light blues are made from turquoise, and then they were mixed with water and egg white, and then made into little discs. So that they could actually, like you get in a child's paint palette today. So that's how those colours were mixed together. Now the black is actually one of the things that doesn't last as long as the colours because it's made out of charcoal. So they're not as good at lasting for the test of time. Now, I love this scene down here. This is one of my favourite scenes. This is the Wailing Women. And so they're in mourning for the dead Roy, who this tomb belongs to. So you can see they're all wailing here. And you would have professional mourners back in the times of the pharaohs as well. So if you weren't very popular and didn't have many friends, you could actually have professional mourners come and mourn your death. So you didn't have to go into the underworld by yourself, which I think is quite admirable. Maybe be a bit nicer in the time of the living, hey? To think of how old these tombs are. It was a sign of what to have mourners. Yes, it would have been a sign of wealth as well. So the more mourners you had, the more people screaming over your death, the more people that you would actually have, the more money you would have. And this was a very affluent gentleman, and you can tell that by his tomb. The tomb, as you can see, the tomb comprises a small chamber with a niche and the burial shaft. So we have the burial. Okay, and the tomb was very low painted ceiling, as we can see, and you can see that they haven't straightened it out. This is actually the natural rock formation to paint the ceiling, and even in the niches, you can see it's not straight lines, but it's kind of a little bit wiggly, zigzaggy, because they've used the fault in the rock. And his wife, Roy's wife, is called Nabiti, or Tawi for short. So she was called Nabiti or Tawi. So this is his wife here. She's beautiful. She appears with him in the tomb paintings. Is well renowned for good quality of its multicoloured paintings. You can see the tomb is decorated mainly treats treats Roy's funeral procession, receiving offerings, agricultural activities, a scene from the Book of Gates, and depictions of the gods Horus. This is all the funeral processions here.